What? It's another Spider-Man #1? But this one's by JJ Abrams and yeah, his son. Thank you for joining VT Comics. I am your host, the bringer of universes and an original true believer, Eric VT. Thanks for joining once again. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. And we will jump into this right away. Here is the cover A for Spider-Man #1 by JJ Abrams and his son, Henry Abrams. There's a lot of backlash about Henry joining the writing team. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that stuff going on right now, where some Hollywood people, some people that don't have the credentials, are getting writing gigs for Marvel and DC. I got my Spidey hat on just for this one, also, and here we go. Let's look at the first page, and it's black. Okay, Tiger. All right. So there's devastation going on. I will tell you right now, there will be spoilers. This is a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. This is a tough one to review without giving spoilers, let me tell you. And there she is, Mary Jane Watson. Spidey's saying, ouch. Okay. Well, that's a little Spidey like, I guess, when he's hurt, but. And they're talking and whatnot. And you can see he would laugh. He laughs at everything. See, I'm not sure what they're referring to there. But on the next page here, here is carnivorous, I'm guessing, or is it carnivore? Not carnivorous. I forget it. I forget the bad guy's name now. The villain's name. Cadaverous. Cadaverous, I think it is, right? And he's got all these alien-looking guys with him and stuff. I'm not sure how I feel about this villain, but it's supposed to be. Look at that right there. That is very alien-esque. I don't like how they're ripping that off. I mean, they look cool, but and so yeah, she all of a sudden this just happens. Let's look. She says, "Tiger, I can't see you," and so they go from this MJ run to this. I do like Sarah Pichelli's work here on this panel with the silhouette, the teardrop, um, the boot falling off. But this should have been a splash page. A page turn splash page. Let's compare it to that right there. So, again, when Gwen Stacy snapped her neck or back and died, it wasn't captured in a splash page. But the aftermath was very gripping because you didn't know if she survived or not when you were reading it. So, there she, Mary Jane is obviously done. And that happens right away, right off the bat. I don't like it. I will say that this Spider-Man is supposed to not be in the normal Marvel universe. It takes place outside of the normal Marvel universe. I don't know how many Marvel universes there are right now. I will say that they do show the bridge here, a bridge here, which might be a bit of a tribute to Gwen Stacy's death. I'm not sure about that, but it could be. So you see that, and to go from this Mary Jane, her introduction, just hit the jackpot, Pete, to giving her this type of death in one panel. That would have been a cool panel if it was a splash page, I think. So that's my take on it there. Now let's skip a bit here. And let's see. Let's go. That's going backwards. Still getting used to this reader. There is a funeral, and you see a young kid, and then how many years later? 12 years later. We'll skip some of this. He gets in trouble. It's Peter's kid, and let's go here. Let's back up a couple. I will say, Peter Parker. This is Peter Parker here, looking like John Wick, and he has lost his arm apparently, and he's given himself a hook of some sort. And he, this is Peter Parker. Why does he have this type of prosthetic? Come up with an invention. I mean, what I'm sure he's devastated. MJ died. He's got to raise. His son's name is Ben, obviously, and named after Uncle Ben. And we'll get more into Uncle Ben. Well, not so much into Uncle Ben, but Aunt May in a little bit. But sure, Peter's devastated, but still to just kind of do this type of prosthetic is just kind of not Peter Parker. You'd think he'd have some tech, right? He'd have some cool tech, and shows how depressed he is. I guess. That's the point they're trying to make. Even that much longer later, 13 years or whatever it said it was. He's looking like John Wick here. Um, Gets in an argument with a kid with this kid. This kind of harks back to the Spider-Man 1 movie with Tobey Maguire and the Uncle Ben scene in the car, kind of. I think so. You see JJ Abrams and his son. They are working together and exploring a father-son relationship for Peter Parker and his son Ben, his new son Ben, out of nowhere in this new Marvel Spider-Man universe. And so let's continue. So he gets home. Ben gets home. He breaks the door down, and sure enough, it's Aunt May. And the true hero of this comic book and the most heartwarming is Aunt May. It's just a great job. They did a great job with her on this. Um, she's everything you want her to be in this book, and she's the true all-star of this book. So MJ's dead. It's years later. This kid's having some trouble in school with his, strength, and now his super strength. And apparently, he has not been told by Peter Parker. And so here, Aunt May is telling Peter, and here's the prosthetic again. He's scratching his head with it, and it's just kind of funny. Oh, Pete, come on, get that Spidey tech going. There's got to be a web shooter in there somewhere, right? And then Ben has a dream. Is that Carnage? Some sort of Carnage, or is it just Mary Jane's hair and blood? And he's having a nightmare. Wakes up. He's on the ceiling. Okay. He's on the ceiling. Check that out. Now that's kind of cool. I like that he has a nightmare and he wakes up on the ceiling. That's pretty badass. Look at this Aunt May. Just awesome. I mean, obviously not as hot as the current Aunt May in the movies. Marissa Tomei, but this is the Aunt May we all want, right? And she tells him to go up here. And I'm not going to reveal the very end, but you could probably figure it out. You could probably figure it out. He goes through the stuff, and he's all like, the letters, here's Daily Bugle, here's pictures of his family, and you could probably figure out what happens next. Okay? Now, I will say that this comic is a decent read. I give it 3 out of 5 VTs, okay? 3 out of 5 VTs for a read on this book. Now, investment wise, not so much. There's a lot of prints. There's a big print run. I will say that the cover A definitely is not, I don't think, an investment worthy book. Probably 2 VTs out of 5 for the investment. And the die cut, you know, I this is the die cut cover here, and I am a sucker for die cut. I'm a sucker for foil. I'm lenticulars, all that stuff, because I grew up. Well, I grew up in reading books in the '80s, late '70s and '80s. But I worked in the comic shop in the '90s, and there was glow in the dark, and there was die cut, and it was just really cool stuff, and it sold. It sold well, and so a die cut kind of it's fun, I think, but that's not investment worthy either. The one that might be investment worthy is the 1 in 50, I believe it is, Del Auto variant. That's it there, and it's a 1 in 50, and it's Del Auto, and that I give 3 out of 5 VTs for investment quality. Now, if you look closely at this, or you don't even have to look closely, it is Mobius. It is a tribute to Mobius's Spider-Man, which is just killer, awesome. Like, you got the creepy spider webs coming off of his leg and his back and shoulder, and the wide eyes and everything. And Otto did a nice job uh, doing a rendition of that. So that's Spider-Man #1, JJ Abrams style. You can kind of figure out what happens at the end, okay? And you get the John Wick Peter Parker. You get Peter Parker, Captain Hook style, like going with a seriously pirate hook for an arm, and not using the tech. I imagine that'll come. Soon in this 5-issue miniseries. Now, where they go from this, where it fits into the Spider-Verse, we'll just have to wait and see. The Cadaverous villain, I think his name is. We'll have to see how he plays. Technically, I think this would be his first appearance. So that is a possible investment there. But that is pretty much sums it up. MJ, though, getting killed in this, I did not like. I would like to see a little bit more of the family. Just, she deserves more. Even in a miniseries, even in this, she deserves some more, I think. I love MJ. I love Peter Parker with MJ. And it's always devastating when they break them apart to me. And that is Spider-Man #1 by JJ Abrams and his son. That's the VT Comics review. Once again, I am your host, Eric VT, the bringer of universes and an original true believer. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We hope to bring lots more video content and great stuff to you. Thank you very much, and boom!